The Dogecoin whales are starting to go crazy right now. We're continuing to see more and more happening with this. And this video is a prime example of why subscribing with notifications on is so important. Because when we do see big things happening, like we're about to talk about, it can actually change the game for cryptocurrency, for Dogecoin especially. So we'll continue to look into that. But that's not the full picture. The Dogecoin whales are part of it. Another part of it is the institutions and the people in positions of power like that. It's really a combination of three things: institutions, whales, and everyday investors. Those are what drives the market either forward, meaning the price goes up, or downward, meaning the price goes down. Right now, though, we are seeing Cathie Wood, institutional investors, are starting to look at this opportunity here, the dip, as a buying time. They want to be making as much money as possible, as does everyone. And if there's an opportunity to make money here, they're going to, of course, take advantage of it. Cathie Wood loading up on $51 million in Coinbase as shares slump amid Bitcoin-led crypto carnage. So articles like this coming up, keep in mind, a lot of this is from China coming out and saying they're no longer going to let you buy cryptocurrency through the typical institutions. And they really weren't already doing that in the first place. So China basically reiterating a policy they already had. Yes, it was disappointing because we were hoping China would then actually come in and change everything. They're not doing that, unfortunately. We would like to see the world actually being more embracing of crypto. So yes, it actually does have some negative parts to it. But really, all of this, when you look at it, is leading to a sign that this isn't a real crypto crash. This is only a crash from new investors who are coming in and don't understand the market. And I actually have some stats to show you right now. Some of that involves the whales to actually back this up. If you want to know the truth, here is a hugely important stat that we need to all be taking into account, which is the fact that most of the addresses that have been selling and causing a lot of the sell-off are from the last week to the last month, or most of the ones that have been bought, most of the Bitcoin, most of the cryptocurrency in the last week to month. That includes Dogecoin, which means there's a lot of new investors who are taking this in stride and not fully understanding the market yet. As we have a huge chat coming in from wanting to pump more from Angelo Lee. We don't do pumps on the channel. We will give you the facts and the information, of course. We'll talk about it and we'll have some fun. Right now, not so fun. Let's be honest. It's not fun to watch Dogecoin and other cryptos go down to the degree we've seen them go down. My portfolio has taken a pretty dang large hit from this. I know a lot of us are definitely not in a good position right now from where we were 1 week ago. Still though, up big. If you've been here since the beginning, you're still up big massively. So some of us are up big, and that includes me overall, but not everyone. And that's why we do need to make sure we're being careful. We don't want to be being mean about it to anyone who's down right now, and we don't want to make anyone feel bad for that, because there's not a reason to feel bad. You made the decision, and then news came out that you couldn't have really predicted. But if you have been subscribed to this channel, you would have seen my video talking about it, and maybe you would have made a decision based on that to sell a percentage of your coins, which is completely understandable if you want to be doing stuff like that. And I'll make sure to keep you updated on what I'm doing as well. But the reason why I'm still continuing to hold is because we see the future. We see cryptocurrency taking over and becoming a more efficient and faster form of currency. Dogecoin, now that number 3 spot in the entire world, has the potential to actually be at that number 1 spot soon as well. But it's not just that. We've been seeing other things as well. The Dogecoin whales are a huge reason why this crash actually happened, and it is starting to look more and more like it could have been coordinated. Like whales at the top decided to get together, all sell at the same time. After the news was announced, we saw a drop, but it wasn't that big. Then a decent amount of time after that, approximately 7 or so hours, we saw the next level of the drop, and it all kind of happened at once. It was looking like it was starting to kind of simmer down. Perhaps that big fall was over. And here's where it starts to get a little bit shaky, because we do know that China purposefully put out one piece of news, then the next one approximately 1.5 days later. A little over a day later, 1.5 days. Matt, what's the deal with that? 1.5 days? We don't use that. You know, so when in doubt, zoom out, from JD Barea. That is in fact true. You want to be always zooming out when in doubt, but at the same time, if you are down, then that doesn't mean you should necessarily, I mean, yes, you are allowed to feel bad, of course, everyone. We should feel bad right now. We should to some degree feel a little bit bad, but that doesn't change the optimism for the future, feeling bad in the present. You're allowed to feel bad. Of course, I mean, you don't need me to tell you that. Matt, you're just a YouTuber. You are not the arbiter of who gets to feel bad or not. Imagine Matt turns into Oprah. You get to feel bad. You get to feel bad. You get to feel bad. Everyone gets to feel bad. Yay. Feel bad. Oh, you want to feel bad too? There we go. Matt now gives everyone permission from the power given to him by no one that he does not have. I don't know. What am I doing? Hodl, it may look bad, but you lose when you sell. Doge to the moon. Keep up the good work. By the way, JD has been leaving some massive chats lately. So shout out to JD. That's awesome to see. Seriously, you were helping huge to support the channel and contribute to just the awesomeness that we're doing here. Awesomeness overall. I don't know. I'm genuinely such a positive person. Everyone knows that. I'm positive. But right now, it kind of feels weird to be positive. I guess maybe should we be less positive? Maybe we should pull out some sad music, because I think that is to some degree warranted. And we'll talk more about the whales in a second here. But on that note, I do want to pull up the crypto rankings and kind of show you what's been happening with the entire market lately, because it's not pretty. It's not pretty at all. Matt doesn't know how to be sad. Someone needs to teach Matt how to be sad. We need to figure it out, because for this live we need to be upset, right? We're supposed to be more upset than we actually are. I don't know. It just doesn't, when you're in crypto long enough, I think a lot of us, it doesn't really get to us as much because of that, because we've seen dips like this before. We know it's part of the market. If it was a full all-out crash, I think that would be a little bit different. But because it wasn't a full all-out crash, and it does seem to be stabilizing and perhaps getting ready to spike back up again, as we've seen many things indicating, including another thing, which I'm about to show you in a second here. There's multiple layers to this. So that's why it's kind of hard to really be upset about this when you know the future is most likely going to hold it going back to that point it was at before. Dogecoin right now, look at that. So it actually is, it's no longer at number 3, unfortunately. It's now down 3 billion to Cardano. But we also saw the entire market cap of cryptocurrency going down approximately 7%. It was as low as around 1.3, 1.2 trillion. Now it's up again to 1.4 trillion. Hopefully that will continue to climb. Bitcoin at 35,000. Now it is at around the range when Tesla actually bought it. It actually dipped below that for a period of time. Tesla still continued to hold, we believe. Technically, we haven't gotten an official update from Elon or Tesla about that, so we don't know for sure. But I believe they did hold, because they would likely tell us if they decided to sell. I feel like that would be the right thing to do. So I don't think they sold. And it's kind of weird to think about how much up they were. Then they actually were a huge part in causing this news. If the Tesla thing didn't happen first, I don't think this China news would have had nearly the same effect. Now people are scared to buy in doubly. If it was just one or the other with the China or the Elon Musk Tesla news, we would likely have seen the recovery already starting to happen right now. It was the double whammy, then a triple whammy if you want to count both accounts of the Chinese news, that really started to take this into account. And we could also be seeing, based on the coordination we've been seeing with the whales, we could actually be potentially seeing people in China who have large amounts of Bitcoin coordinating together to sell off, or maybe it could be people in the US too. We don't exactly know for sure, because there's no way to track that to the person who's doing it. So possibly coordinated. Then another thing, most of the buying is starting to happen back in the US. We have seen a lot of whales, meaning people who have more than $1 million, buying back in at extremely large rates. Dogecoin especially is a recipient of that. They are buying back in during this dip, which is one of the most bullish signs you can possibly see. And I think a lot of people are going to start to follow in that. So when you look at the fact that most of the money that was sold was bought in the last month to the last week, in that range, you combine that with the fact that a lot of whales are starting to buy back in, and you start to get a fuller picture of what we could expect to see here. I would not be surprised at all to see Dogecoin, other cryptocurrencies going up between 10 and 25% over the next week. That is my expectation for what could happen. And here's a couple reasons why it may not, though. If we do see more bad news coming out, if we do see the government continuing to crack down, which it looks like they may be starting to be a little bit more open to it in the US especially. So there are a number of different things that can happen. That's why notifications on is so important, because the second that big news comes out, I'll be able to come on and really break down exactly what's happening as fast as possible. We got one video out from an Elon tweet, approximately 45 minutes after the Elon tweet, a full video, editing, posting, everything all put together. And if you would like to see those fast, the notifications on is very important. Jack Mack coming in. I've been here since July 4th of last year at 0.00231 cents. No way I'm selling anytime soon. OG Jack Mack, I can't confirm, is an OG. Been leaving some awesome comments for us for a long time here. So thank you so much, Jack. We love you. BTC pumping a bit right now as well, coming in from Hector Tulio. Let's go ahead and check BTC. What is BTC doing? Apparently it is pumping at this current point in time. Let's pull that up, because that's one of the beautiful things about going live. When BTC starts pumping, or Dogecoin. We can watch it on the live and see what's happening. Look at that. So it's up to 35,347. When I started live, I think it was at around 35,000. So it's up around 300. I don't know if I would call that a pump. I mean, it's going up a little bit compared to where it was, but no, I wouldn't call that a pump, unfortunately, just simply because it's not a big enough amount. I mean, maybe it'll start though now. It hasn't started already, I don't think. But nonetheless, so thank you for the chat, Hector. And we do hope to see that happening soon. It absolutely can. But here's where we start to get into kind of the nitty gritty of this. And this is Mark Cuban. Also, by the way, if you're looking for the best VPN out there, I put a link at the very, very top of the description. You're welcome to go check it out. Click on the link if you need a VPN, if you're looking to get into more cryptos, or if you just want to actually have the ability to watch things other places. Go check out the link. You're welcome to do so. Mark Cuban calls cryptocurrency crash the great unwind as Bitcoin and Dogecoin plummet. The great unwind. And here's kind of his reasoning behind this. And it's oddly similar to something we've seen in the past. I'm about to explain that in a second. First, I'm going to read this comment here. This is kind of the narrative, the same thing that we saw in 2017. I'm a dolphin in BTC. Okay. All the meme coins are murda. I'm Italian. Doge and various dog coins are the measure of dumb money. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. I'm not sure if you're actually cutting down Dogecoin, which would definitely be a foolish thing to do, considering the fact that it's in the very, very top of the world right now when it comes to cryptocurrency. In the top 10, it was number 3 at a period earlier today, and I think it'll definitely reclaim that spot pretty soon here once we get the Coinbase listing starting to really ramp up and the energy around that getting bigger and bigger and bigger. But if you're not doing that, then I guess I would have to take that back. It's kind of hard to tell. Someone let me know, what is he trying to say here? Blockchain 360. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. But this is what Mark Cuban had to say. I think it's the great unwind. Traders borrow, buy ETH. Used ETH. Oh, oops, ad popping up. Used ETH to borrow alt/stablecoin. Used that to do a high APY pair, took the SLPs and staked them to max out yield. The minute ETH drops to their tragic number, they had to unwind, unstake, remove liquidity, and repay. So he's kind of diving into what he believes may have caused this in part. And that is true. We have seen a lot of people borrowing money to buy into cryptocurrency. Not good. We've also seen the government borrowing money to give to people, then people spending that money. So it's just layers on layers and layers of borrowing in some sections of the market. The majority of it is not borrowed, at least not directly, but there is still a decent percentage of that. So I don't know if Mark Cuban's fully on track here with this, but he does have some points. And he is also, to some degree, right as well, that we were due for a natural correction. A lot of us were expecting it to happen a little bit later, including myself. This news kind of spurred it faster, but we were due for a natural correction at some point, and it just happened to happen faster than expected. It gets worse when a double tragic number strikes those who have been in long enough to not think they would ever get hit. When they get hit, that means most of the dry powder that was being used to hold support levels is unwound too, which means it would take more new money coming in to actually cause it to continue to skyrocket. To some degree, he's right, but at the same time, a lot of the people who sold in the last week to month, who just have bought that, are then most likely going to want to buy back in at some point pretty soon here. And so I don't necessarily think that is true. But overall, what Mark Cuban is getting at here was so much borrowed money going in, and the entire perhaps economy of investing being a little bit over leveraged. I think that absolutely is true, and we're going to see more negative consequences of that coming soon. I'm about to show you a few charts here that'll give us a better idea. What does this chat say? John, coming to the chat, thank you so much. I'm now Cyber Viking for life and a Doge dreamer. Diamond Hands, Matt Wallace is my favorite show, and Elon is my hero. Thank you so much, Nathan, for watching Final Stand, the Matt Wallace show, if we want to call it that. Do we want to call it that? I guess we can. Matt, please watch the interview that Me Kevin did with Harry Dent 2 days ago. You need to educate and prepare the community for this possibility. Yes, I saw that, and we'll talk more about that for sure. Let me read this as well. Doge will rule, betting my life on this. From Angelo Lee. Be the dragon. See, we're seeing so much love in the chats here, so much love in the comments. And that's something that most communities don't have. You don't see people in BTC having this much love even during a time like this. Most people, rightfully so, are upset by this, and we are too, but that's not going to stop us from having at least a little bit of fun, just overall with the community, with the memes, and with each other. Yes, we're down, but yet we're not fully down for the count, if that makes sense. That's why I like this community so much more. I mean, it's who other some of these, oh my gosh, some of these comments here are just, they're gold. Why can't Matt have an extra set of eyes so he can read some of those other comments? I need more. But the US national debt expected to approach 89 trillion. 89 trillion. Jeez. That's like 20 times what the average amount per year that the US brings in total is by 2029. Oh my gosh. Let me show you a couple of charts here. So this right here is the federal budget surplus or deficit. The gold standard being removed definitely wasn't a good thing for this. Now there's 2 points to this before I get into it. The first one is that if we do see the value of the dollar going down, that's going to help cryptocurrency overall. And not just that, if we see more people being unsure about the future of the dollar, that's also going to cause cryptocurrency to go up as more people want to invest in it as a hedge against inflation, which it does very, very well. If you want to buy a hedge, you can go directly to IKEA and get one of the fake hedges, or you can go to a real shop that sells flowers and plants and other stuff and get a fake hedge, or you can just buy cryptocurrency. There's 3 ways right there, 3 completely different types of hedges, but the one we're talking about here, of course, is a financial hedge, meaning if the value of the dollar goes down a lot, if the average rate is approximately 2.5%, at least lately. If it goes down a lot more than that, if we see 10% or 15% with the dollar, which based on this chart here, I mean, oh my gosh, it's kind of insane. Ever since the gold standard was removed, it's really just been downhill literally from there in a lot of ways, and then just absolutely going parabolic. And so we could see a lot more of this coming, meaning family members or ourselves, if we have too much in USD, that's definitely taking a risk. We're at the point now where I honestly believe holding more US dollars than cryptocurrency overall may be making a bad decision. And that's not to say you shouldn't have USD. That's not to say you shouldn't put money into more stable assets like that. But it is to say if you only have money in the dollar and you don't have money in anything else, you're definitely taking a huge risk by that, probably a bigger risk than if you just went ahead and put more into cryptocurrency. And that's not to say cryptocurrency can't go down. We've seen a prime example this week that it can go down. That's just to say also the dollar can too, which is something a lot of people don't even think about. Why NFL's Sean Culkin is encouraging pro athletes to bank on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. I just wanted to give a shout out to him. He's basically just saying it's still the future regardless of what happens in the short term. And I think he's right. All those people who just bought in the last month to week, they're new investors. Those are a lot of the sells. Why wouldn't they want to come back in pretty soon here? I think most of them are trying to play the market. They're waiting until they see what looks like the bottom to them before buying back in. Or if it starts to go up, they're going to feel a little bit of FOMO and want to get directly in. And we could end up seeing from all of that energy a massive parabolic movement in a couple of months here, where cryptocurrency just goes so crazy that's like nothing we've ever seen before. Kind of like Ethereum Classic, which went all the way up to approximately $160. I sold a percentage at the top there. I guess in hindsight, it would have been smart to sell a little bit more. I don't know why I didn't. I guess I knew I should have, and that's why I did sell a lot of it. And I posted that on Patreon too. I posted that publicly, but I guess I mean I don't know. I don't have too much regret for it because it's still up from where it was, and it's still made a ton of money from that sale as well, which is why we want to be looking at opportunities like that still, even in this market. You see this kind of love. Oh, interesting. So this guy's coming in saying because I talked about a few facts around his coin, he lost respect for me. All right, that's fair enough. This is just a super chat, the Doge Army, but still, I'm still going to tell the truth about all coins, regardless of that. This is just a super chat, Doge Army. Woof woof. And anyway, thank you for the chat. So you lost respect for the channel because we talked we showed some of the negative facts around your coin there, which is Safe Moon. When we are collaborating with Final Stand at Hey John, what's the good word, bro? Oh yeah, I keep forgetting. I've actually told a number of people I'll come on their channel. I still plan to do that. I've already been on a decent number of channels. I love doing that because we can bring more people into the community by going on new outside channels, and we can also make the community more stronger by going on channels that are also in the community. So yes, I will definitely reach out to me on Twitter. Let me go ahead and, so that's I see that's your Twitter right there. Let me go ahead and take a picture just so I don't forget, and then I'll check it out after, and I will see if I have time to go on, which I should have time. Nick coming in. 225,000 Doge holding strong. Nice. That's awesome to hear. You got your verified account as well, which means you have influence. If you want to use that to bring more people in, that would definitely be cool to see. Musk tweets his support for crypto as Bitcoin continues to drop. Elon Musk coming in with a tweet basically saying he's still on board with crypto in the future over fiat. Don't, under any circumstances, underestimate Elon. We've been telling people that for so long now, and yet people still continue to do it. Goldman's crypto chief worries about fraud, but not cryptocurrency's future. More institutions. So now that's a double whammy. Kathy Wood with ARK Invest. Now Goldman's crypto chief. Both of them basically saying they're still optimistic into the future. Goldman and Sachs, one of the biggest ones. ARK Invest, another one of the biggest ones. And if they're on our side for this, but they still can't control it and they're still not manipulating it, then that's a positive thing. If they do start to manipulate it, we are going to try to call that out more and more and more, just like we have seen most likely the Chinese government doing that right now and selling some of the top, which is what we've seen with the whales going a little bit crazy and selling, especially with Bitcoin, but with Dogecoin as well. Both of them, we've been seeing a lot of that. Dogecoin a higher percentage, but a much lower number in terms of the total amount, simply because it's smaller. And that's just something that I guess it's kind of just part of it. You can't really do anything about it necessarily. You just kind of have to say, all right, yeah, that makes sense. But has Elon tweeted anything recently? I've been preparing for the last couple of hours for the live, and I haven't actually checked that. Let's go ahead and see if Elon's actually tweeted anything new recently. So he tweeted out this meme. He tweeted out that meme yesterday, and he has not tweeted anything mainly since then. The last thing he responded to was this: Virgin Galactic Spaceship 2. And honestly, Elon's a good sport. He goes on a bunch of his competitors' Twitters and comments congratulations and things like that. He's a very, very good sport. It's kind of cool to see that. I don't know if I would do the same thing, because you're giving your competitors a lot more attention. I guess that wouldn't really be smart. But at the same time, if you're worth as much as Elon is, at that point you don't really care. If you're trying to grow a small business and you have a competitor, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I guess it's still probably worth it to be cordial. It's still probably worth it in his position, regardless of if you make a little bit less money or not from it. As long as your product is the best, you're probably going to still get the customers. So I guess, I guess it's probably still the right thing to do. It just seems a little bit too nice, maybe, perhaps, if that's even a thing. I guess that's not a thing. Too nice is good. Doge Philippines, Doge Dragon, Doge Nubawan. Oh, nice, coming in from Angela Lee. I love that. And Matic is pumping, apparently, from Hectory. Matic, is it pumping? I have not checked Matic in a little bit. Let's go ahead and check it right now. Matic, a cryptocurrency. Is it pumping? Pump it up. Yeah, you're right. I agree. We should be nice. The truth is, probably the smartest thing Elon could possibly do is just be himself. And if being nice is part of that, which it is, Elon's nice. I think most people in the Dogecoin community are generally speaking nice. Like, we'll help each other out. We aren't afraid to do things like that. What was that? Oh. How much do you think's Doge in the window? Oh yeah, so that's another thing too. So people are commenting, it's a song, how much is that dog in the window? Which I've never heard before. I looked on YouTube, it had like 7 million views, which is a decent amount, but I didn't hear about it before. Now I heard it. It's a okay song. It's honestly overrated as a song. It wasn't that great. Why are people freaking out so much about it? Why is it still such a big deal? I mean, it was a decent song. The fact that it was so long ago, huge credit to them for making a song of that level that long ago. But besides that, I don't get it. Maybe some super big fan of that song will be mad at me for that, but hey, whatever, it is what it is. You're the best reporter for cryptocurrency, from Alex coming in. Dude, I appreciate that. A big chat coming in. I try to work as hard as I possibly can on it, even in sacrifice of sleep at times, or in sacrifice of food, unfortunately, a couple of times. But don't worry. Whenever I do that, I'll then eat double afterwards to make up for it. So it's solved. Problem solved like that. Let's go ahead and check out the Polygon. Yeah, but sometimes I'll be like, oh, I want to go ahead and go live right now because a big breaking news thing happened, or I want to make a video quick before eating, even though I'm starving, and then afterwards I just double down on the food, because we gotta be staying hydrated and nourished. I adore you, and you're, oh, nice. We should be friends, from Casey. Yeah, definitely, we can be friends, sure. We can. Oh, nice. That's awesome. That's awesome. But yeah, definitely send me a chat on Twitter. I mean, I don't know though, because there's so many that have been coming in lately. But you know what I'll do? Just comment your username, and then I'll add you. Hey Matt, what are your thoughts on the U.S. government now looking into making their own crypto? They actually aren't. They aren't looking into making their own crypto. They have considered it, but they are pushing that back a good bit further. That's not going to be coming probably anytime soon, like the Chinese government, who's going to be doing that relatively soon. So I do not think the U.S. government, we shouldn't expect that at any point, even in the next year, most likely. Maybe beyond that, it could happen. They have said in the past that they're probably at some point going to do it, but I hope it doesn't happen too soon, because the USDT, that's basically already the same thing as that. I guess if they want to actually have their own, that's really truly a cryptocurrency and is apart from the dollar, it wouldn't really matter because it's decentralized anyway. So what would even be the point of doing that? They could just adopt one of the ones that already exist if they wanted to do that was smaller. But if they do make a new one, where would the advantage be? Would it just be they would have the best coders in the world on it? Would it just be they would have the best team? Would it be that they would use some of their own computers or taxpayer dollars to manage it? How would it still be decentralized? Would they have control over it? So there would be a ton of question marks about that. And I don't necessarily think it would be seamless or work well. There could also be other problems as well. One of the most expensive corrections is VIBE from Casey. Interesting. Yeah, I don't want to VIBE. One most expensive. I'm not entirely sure what you mean by that. Can someone let me know? Someone let me know what is meant by that. Matic, oh no, Matic's not doing that great. It's down pretty big in the last 7 days, but all cryptos are for the most part. So no, Matic is unfortunately not an exception to the rule for if you are invested in Matic. 1.44 trillion is definitely not fun to see. It was up as high as 1.5 trillion. So we've seen over $1 trillion wiped off the market cap of cryptocurrency altogether, just really in the last week or so. A little bit longer than that if you continue going back to the very, very top. But that's a ton that has gone off that has the potential to hopefully come back for very soon here. But we're going to continue to monitor this and watch it because we want to be knowing exactly when the whales are selling or buying, what's happening with them. We also want to be staying on top of the big news. Did Elon just tweet? No, he did not. Ever since you told Matt Wallace, oh, no, geez, that's not good. I don't want to read that out loud. It's apparently someone said something bad, and then Nick came and reported them. So thank you, Nick, for that. Yes, that's not good. We don't be saying mean things to people online. We want to be being nice and having the community represented well. Because at any point in time, if we say something as a community, if you're a leader, if you're someone who's posted on Twitter, we could have articles written about us. And so we want to be always projecting a good image out there to the world, not just for Dogecoin, but for cryptocurrency altogether. Image is everything in today's day and age when it comes to moving forward. And so image is something we want to be taking very good care of. Coinbase listing coming, more MLB teams coming as well. You're right. More NBA teams coming, more NFL, Robinhood wallets coming, so many things to look forward to, and on top of that, what Elon Musk is doing. So there we go. Tats909 listing 4 reasons right there. Then the added one of Elon Musk. That's 5 total to be excited about it. And then this one says, oh, interesting. Yeah, maybe I'll check that out. Airdrop. You know what? One thing I've learned is the first time I hear someone mention a crypto on the show, it's probably smart to just immediately consider putting a little bit of money in. And whenever we hear a crypto mentioned for the first time, every single time it's happened, it's then gone up a decent amount afterwards. So you know what? I'll definitely actually for real check that out, and we'll see what happens with it. But anyway, that's all for the live tonight. I'm Matt Wallace. This is Final Stand, and I will see you in the next video.